All right, we just rolled up. We are filming a little podcast today. Started a new podcast called Why Are We Here? Today I'm interviewing my friend Ashley Cook, just somebody that I've known in town for a long time and super curious to kind of hear more of her story. That's kind of the whole reason for the podcast. Like, I get to interview people that I'm super excited about. I get to have deeper conversations with inspiring people or, people that are killing it. I think the Why Are We Here thing is more to get into like deep conversations that a lot of people aren't going to have in any other places. Like, I get to ask about the universe and aliens and whatever. We get to get into the stuff that people maybe shy away from, but I want to be like a safe place where people can have these big conversations, and it's kind of all of us saying we don't know, but let's kind of talk about it, figure it out together. So it's exciting, man. I've always been such a huge fan of podcasts. It's kind of how I get to know the artists that I love and the people that I love. So hopefully it's another tool to, deepen the relationship with my fans and kind of get to another level with people who have been following me for a while. And then obviously the fun part is like, then Ashley gets to repost the podcast and I get exposure to her people, and it's kind of this win-win that I'm like, if we could set it up now and have it be rolling for the next 10 years or whatever, like that's a huge win. So patience, but super fun.
What if I'm just 100% me, doing exactly what I want, and I'm just living my life like I'm only listening to me, myself, and I.
Yeah, I mean, long form is just so much more nuanced and contextualizing. Like, I can get on my story and do weird questions only, and it's kind of like the talent show, like quick zips, but to like really sit down with somebody is to really know somebody. And when we're friends and when we're family with somebody, you've spent so many hours with them and you know their heart, you know their intentions. And I feel like that's a great place to take my fans, is because I can really show them like who I am, who I want to be. I can invite them on the journey. I think that's really interesting. When I'm a fan of somebody, that's what I wish they would do. So I'm always asking myself, how does my artist brain and my fan brain collide and make similar decisions?
Yeah.
Because like a really good podcast host is kind of just keeps putting lights on people, and by the end they should feel so lit up in like a stained glass window. They're just like beautiful looking.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, I love that person, and I'm gonna follow them. I'm gonna look up everything that they've ever done.
Yeah.
And then we've all heard a podcast. You're like, I like that person a lot less.
Yeah.
And my hope is that I have really interesting people on that I can help shine and feel like whatever they're promoting, whoever they're trying to be, really gets seen.
Yeah.
Exciting. For me, at least, like, I'm trying to build things now that in the macro, over 10 to 20 years, Jeff and I can look back and be like, man, so glad we started a podcast, because now we have this massive platform, revenue stream. To me, it's just going to be so fun. Like, I get to bring on people that I'm wildly fascinated by, who I would have no shot to talk to in the real world.
Yeah.
That's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I do think letting people talk about what lights them up or what breaks their heart is very interesting to me. And I think that's more about the why we're here. I almost wonder if there's like a way that we, and it can be like solo, you and I, where we just kind of get into it and I talk about like my love of podcasting, my curiosity about certain things, my want to be able to go deeper with people, kind of the context of the podcast. I'm starting a podcast in May called Why Are We Here? And we're setting up like the studio space that we have, so like the set, and then we're like putting a bunch of stuff on the shelves. We're gonna grab some content to be able to promote it, maybe do like a little trailer and just kind of get a bunch of stuff figured out for the cast. Perfect. I'm about to interview my father, my Nashville dad, Mr. Tyler Rich. Technically my oldest friend in Nashville. He's like the first guy I met in town. So time to, tell the story, the long-awaited lore of me and Papa Rich.
I get locked out. Come and get us now. Yeah, we're freaking locked out, of course. I get locked out.
That's really cool. That was a fun episode. We had a really good buddy, Tyler Rich, on, and it felt like a very full circle moment because he literally is like the first person I met in town. And so he's helped me so much with touring, and I feel like just introducing me to so many people and being a champion for me and so many other people. So he's really one of my favorite humans in town, and he has so much fun stuff happening for him. And honestly, I think a fun part of this podcast is like I don't get to see a lot of these people because we're all so busy. So I get to sit them down and for like an hour. I get to actually pick their brain and like have a great conversation with people who are like my friends. It's great. Ready? Yeah. Thank you, sir. Today, we're interviewing Josh Radnor on the podcast, which is super fun. I grew up like watching I Met Your Mother on TV, and now I'm like talking to him, and he's a buddy of mine. We've gotten to write a couple times, and super talented. So he's like the kind of guest that I want to have on. He's also very interested in like the spiritual world and like asking really big questions about the universe. So I think he's gonna have a lot of fun and definitely like different stuff to say than a lot of the other guests, which I'm really excited about.
It's great.
I'm trying not to like overthink stuff. Like part of this is going to be doing 100 of them.
Yeah.
And then as we go, like figuring out segments, like I'm trying to figure out how much of the like why are we here framework I want to bring into it. But at the same time, it's kind of the point of the show. So it felt natural, not like this thing. And I was like, you did a really good job. Part 2 of why are we here? There's almost 2 people. It's like the Jack Sock at the Olympics, and it's like Jack, the guy in the hotel room. And I love the like juxtaposition of I was just next to Jimmy Butler, I'm the man, I am at the Olympic, ceremony, and then you're just like another guy in a hotel room eating shitty food, checking Twitter. That was fun. He's a really cool guy. I followed him for a while, and just super genuine, like down to earth dude who's been he's a top 10 tennis player in the world at one point. Like, damn. That's so hard to do. Yeah. So I love picking people's brains who are like better at stuff than me. Why are we here? Smells like success. Well, I'm super glad everybody in this room is a part of it. That felt super fun to, a million episodes and a billion streams and shit. Cheers.